So, welcome again everyone to the final review of the Scania R730 Chimera. And first of all, my apologies for not having enough footage of the cabin assembly, but as I was expecting, it was pretty handful to assemble the whole cabin, and I knew that I would get out of alignment from the camera, as unfortunately it happens quite often with me. So again, my apologies for that. So the Scania, lots of good things to say about it, and also lots of bad things. The first thing, which is a good one, is that as you can see, the truck is gorgeous. It looks pretty realistic. I mean, I don't pay a lot of attention to real trucks, but when I see a Scania, since Scania is my favorite brand of trucks, I usually take a quick look at them, and this one replicates pretty well the real thing. Now, where do I start? Maybe fitting. I never trusted Italeri when it concerns to fitting, and in this case it's not an exception, because I can never, I cannot build an Italeri kit the same way I build, let's say, a Tamiya one, for instance. In a Tamiya kit, I know everything will go in place where it is supposed to be. In this case, that's not what happens. So, what I usually do with Italeri kits is that I paint the parts, of course, and instead of building the kit progressively, as I do with other brands, I leave them up to the side and start the next step, because I know there are parts in the next step that are dependent of how good the fit is in the previous one. So that's how I approach Italeri kits, in this case trucks, because if you remember, I did the Mercedes, the Becker Challenge, which well, it's a Revel box, but it is in fact an Italeri kit, and I had to do the same thing. I've learned a lot from that kit, and that's how I decided to approach this kit this way. And I'm not I'm not unhappy with it. It's gorgeous, it looks good, but I'm not 100% happy, because, let's say again, the cabin. I assembled the cabin, I don't know, maybe 3 times. The 2 first ones were without success, and I'm pretty satisfied with the final result, but still I couldn't escape some gaps. For instance, here, and another one here, which I couldn't solve here because it's the fender, and don't ask me why the fender doesn't want to be 100% in place, so it gets a little bit to the front, and I couldn't solve it despite all my efforts to do it. But in the end, overall, everything looks in place, looks nice, and I need to say one thing more about fitting. This truck comes with a system, if you want to call it a system, with 2 hinges in the front, where you have to insert 2 pins so the cabin may tilt. to the front. But there's two problems. One of them is due to the fitting, as I've said earlier. I didn't predict this thing, so when it happened, there's nothing I could do. If I was to use that tilting system of the cabin would sit too high, so the pins could insert in their respective holes. And another problem that I would have then is how to handle the truck, because as you can see, you cannot grab it from everywhere you want. Lots of suspended parts here on the sides, both sides, at the rear and at the front. So if you grab it like a normal kit, you would probably have a million parts in your hands and the truck would be sitting in the same place. So that's why I didn't fit those two pins, because if I need, and only if I must, I will remove the cabin and then I can handle it. The other solution I found was not to glue this rear end. This way I can grab the truck from here, okay? Because these are the two bars that compose the chassis, so I know they will still be in place even if I handle them. So these are the two solutions I arranged to be able to handle the truck. If I go from the underside, I know I will destroy something here at the rear suspension, or even worse, I know I'll have the front bumper completely out of place and in my hand, sorry. Well, not much else to say. I did something that is not very realistic. I didn't go to the chrome wheels that the truck has originally, and instead I painted them gunmetal, which for me, for my taste, looks a lot better. Now, one thing I want to say positive is, besides the amount of detail, because it has a lot of detail throughout the entire kit, except the interior. I really don't like the how do I say, the dashboard has an entire decal for the instrument panel, and I don't like, feels toyish. But on the other hand, details are very, very good, and all around the truck. So I've lost myself. I was going to say something positive about it. I know. One thing that is really, really nice, and it would be really good if all brands practiced this, and are the chromed adhesives that they have for instance, the mirrors. I don't know if it is possible for you to see. I think it is. It is chromed adhesive that replicates the mirror instead of just painting silver or whatever. It looks a lot better. And here we are, the Scania. Really good, really nice, but requires a completely different approach to build. But if you go with some patience, in the end you have a really, really nice model. So that was it. I'm going to have a big project in my hands for the next video, I believe. I'll have to study how I'm going to do any kind of videos with it, because it is pretty big. So until then, take care and see you later.